I'm Marsha. I am the director and the creator of Nobu Pilates, and we recently had a campaign called Every Body is a Pilates Body, really centered around that term Pilates body that's been bantered around a lot lately, which in one way, giving Pilates its flowers is fabulous, but the term Pilates body has left some people feeling unseen, marginalized. Like it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. And I've started these live chats. One, because it stops me from watching only Housewives on a Sunday night. And two, because I've got a lot of friends, like in my time of teaching now, which is, it's now 12 years. I can't believe I'm saying that. I've built a lot of great connections and friendships in this industry with people that I really, really respect. And today we've got Christos joining us today, an absolute well of knowledge.
Practicing Pilates now over like 15 years ago, introduced to classical Pilates, and then I fell in love because of the way it made me feel. Yeah. It was challenging. I'm a certified teacher, and then I have studied with a lot of, and I'm very blessed about this, with very important teachers in the Pilates world, like Bob Likens. I've done his master's program, and with Major Wiggin, with Kathy Rosnash. Once you stop being a student, you're stop being a good teacher.
What's been your experience of it, and what's your take on that term?
Well, Pilates is very popular now, much more popular than it was 2 years ago.
Yes.
And along with that came, and also social media are popular, right?
Yeah.
And how it is presented through social media has changed. And I would say what I see in our studios to what it is promoted out there is completely, there's like a disconnect. In our studios, you can see people from 20 years old to 80 years old, different body types. You can see people that they are just starting their journey in fitness, and you can see athletes in the same space. Yeah. No matter where you are, Pilates meets you, and you don't have to be perfect to do it. Promoted as what is a Pilates body is a disconnect, because what I've been discussing with people, they perceive now Pilates as you have to be fit to do it. You have to be super flexible to do it. You have to be graceful to do it. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like it's a place that you can go when you start your fitness journey, which is completely opposite to what Pilates is and what we experience in our studios. 100. By Joe Pilates, right? So it was made for men and women. And I'm not sure how it started in social media and how it is promoted nowadays, but I would say a large, so it became very popular in the dance world, right? So a lot of female dancers would join it. So female dancers look elegant and graceful anyway. They have amazing bodies and they look amazing when they move. Yeah. So, and which is not bad.
No, of course not.
And
they're strong bodies as well.
Yeah, exactly. And because of dancers is why initially Pilates became so popular. So I would say that was one part of it. And today's social media, you would see more of the graceful part of Pilates, the poses, the dance-like Pilates.
Yeah, it's people on one side of their pregnancy and getting to the other side. It is people with a strength goal. It's so much more of a colourful picture than what is being represented.
Exactly.
A megaformer. Yes. What are your thoughts on the megaformer, and how do you differentiate what we are doing in the Pilates world next to what the megaformer is bringing?
I believe that even the creators of the megaformer now, they don't call Pilates what they teach on the equipment. I would say that it's more like fitness-based movements on an equipment that looks like reformer, and it's called differently, and that's why it's called differently, right? Megaformer. It's definitely not Pilates, but that doesn't mean it's bad, right? For me, whatever makes people move, it's okay. and if it's safe, it's okay for people to do.
Yeah.
But then, because one thing is very famous and popular, like Pilates, other modalities are more likely to use names of or equipment of in order to gain some fame.
Yeah. People moving safely is excellent, but it is starting to sort of muddy the lines between what we're doing. And like, I've witnessed this at our Pilates studio where somebody might be really well versed in Megaformer, and then they come to ours and they don't think that they're doing Pilates. So I do think it's really important that people understand that this Megaformer looks like a reformer, absolutely, but the workout you're getting is a different experience and isn't necessarily Pilates. It's inspired by Pilates, I think. What do you think Joseph, Romana, Bob all think of the Megaformer?
I don't think they would recognize it as Pilates, right?
No, I don't. So
I don't
yeah,
know.
obviously Joseph Pilates is the person who created Pilates, originally Contrology, and then Romana was one of his students. Was Bob one of his students as well?
No, Bob was a student of Romana's.
Bob was a student of Romana, and Christos has trained and been in both of those spheres, which is amazing. So what is the difference between classical and contemporary, and is there a side that you sit on with that?
I would say classical Pilates aims to maintain the integrity of the original method, of the method that Joseph Pilates created, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that it's deeply thoughtful and very adaptive system, of course, depending on the teacher you train with. Yeah, and I would say that contemporary Pilates, on the other hand, its main focus is not the integrity of the original method, right?
Right.
They have the principles. They apply the principles of Pilates, and the exercises sometimes might not look the same. We have in contemporary Pilates, there's physio-based Pilates. Sometimes there's dance-based Pilates. There's organizations that focus on movements or are inspired or Pilates-based movements. I found it enough challenging. It made sense for my body. And also the way it's structured. And especially when I started teaching it, it had more answers regarding the method. And and I could see the much bigger difference in my clients' bodies.
Yeah,
that's why I stick to.
See and hear when someone has a classical base, and then what you go on to explore after that. I definitely embrace the contemporary side as well, because I think it's brilliant, but I think it needs to be applied with the logic and the eye that the classical Pilates gives you.
I would say, because it's called the Pilates method, it's good for everyone, especially as a teacher, to know what it's meant to be and what's the well, there's no final goal. What it looks like when you achieve the most difficult movements. And because it is a method, there are steps to it on how to build your strength, your flexibility, your stamina, in order to be able to develop your body so it can do these difficult movements. Sometimes some people may not, but because it is a method, there are steps to it, and of course, this is one of the reasons we call classical Pilates full body workout, right?
One of the questions that was sent in is, I like this one. What do you love about being a Pilates instructor? Well, you've done it for 15 years and you still absolutely love it.
I guess as a person, I'm a problem solver. So when I see a person and I see their bodies and I have what I see in their bodies and what their goals are, and I'm trying to make that happen, and try to find the most effective way and the fastest way to make that happen. And using all this knowledge I gained through the years, through experience and through other teachers, and trying to pick all of that and create a system for every different person in order to achieve their goals, to make their body stronger. Well, that's and because every person is so different, it makes it so inspiring and so different. That's why you never get bored.
100%. How everybody receives that information as well, not just physically, like how they break it down. Like we have to be ready, but like whatever mood they're coming in with, maybe something has happened, like an injury. Sometimes like we have to be able to sort of make a decision quite quickly when someone walks through the door and what they need that day. Which that's something I love about Pilates, is that like it doesn't matter what you're going through. You don't need to cancel that session because I can change it to what you need it to be.
It's what I said earlier. Pilates meets you where you are today, where you are, right? And it should be like that. And people that watch this live now and they're practicing and they're not teachers, if they have a teacher that doesn't do that, they should find another teacher. And now there's plenty of them.
Anything else that you want to say to somebody, like when they've never tried it before, they might be anxious? And again, this whole Pilates body phrase could be something that's putting them off from coming in to our spaces. Is there anything else that you'd want to say to someone to encourage them to come and give it a go, and why they should do this?
I would say that Pilates is definitely for everyone, regardless of age, regardless of background, regardless of body type, fitness level. And again, Pilates meets you where you are now. Any kind of new start, even if it's your first time training, or even if you've been training for years and you haven't tried Pilates before, any kind of start might be difficult. But I would say try to find the spaces and the people that makes you feel included within the community, inclusive spaces, and take it step by step.
100%. And I think that's a perfect way to sum that up, really. I completely agree. And that is really, everything you just said is the heart and soul of this campaign. And I hope that people really hear it. We're still having some blockages with people wanting to come and try it, but we are actively showing you that Pilates is a safe space and a fun space. Like, that's another thing. Like, how much, when you're in a session, do you just forget about absolutely everything else?
Everything. That's why I always say I don't need meditation, because it's the only time that I forget about everything. I'm in my body and I'm so present to what I feel, to what I do. It's amazing.
That's how I feel. I never have anything like it. And like a selfish moment for me, like, you know, Nobu Pilates, it is everything to me. I absolutely love it, but it does make me like get pulled in many, many directions. And if one thing Pilates brings for me, if not like just like strengthening my body physically, it's like zoom, like this centered moment for me, 55 minutes of like the best medicine of my week. It's so great to chat with you. And like I said, to everybody that might not have, I feel like everybody knows who Christos is, even if he's like trying to hide away, he needs to be out here a bit more. But Christos is like an incredible pool of knowledge. And I used to work at Equinox with Christos, and he would always be there for me, like when I was training my eye, and I had questions that sometimes like you're like, oh, am I being stupid? And you never made me feel that way. So if that's how I feel as an instructor, if you can imagine as a client, like being in Christos's hands is one of the best journeys ever. Christos, where can everybody find you? Can they access you, or are you still hidden?
I'm very inclusive. I'm very. I work for Equinox, so you can find me at the Kensington Club of Equinox if you're a member. Okay.
I know lots of Equinox members, so please stop like getting in your own way. Get into the studio. Christos and his team are insane. Just like go and do something good for yourself. Christos, Christos, I won't take
Thank
any
you.
more of your Sunday night, but it's been such a pleasure to chat to you. So you're my second person, and I'm really proud to have had you. And I think we're going to make this a weekly thing.
Thank you.
So I hope you'll be back next week with somebody else. Thank you, Christos.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.